All right. Hello, everybody. So today we're going to continue working on my model text editor in Rust. And so far, what we have is, let me run. So as you can see, we have the normal mode. We can toggle to insert mode. You can type, you can go back to the normal mode. But right now there is no file handling, and I'm not respecting any bounds as to the buffer and whatnot, right? So the first thing that I wanted to do today was to implement the notion of a buffer. So let's do that. So the API that I think I'm going to use here, at least for now, is to do the following: let file equals standard env args. Let's get the first argument. And then let's do the following: let buffer. It's going to be buffer from file, like that. And then the idea is to feed the buffer to the editor. But let's start with creating a new file. So it's going to be buffer rs. So, and this is going to hold the name of the file. It's going to be an option string, and it's going to contain the lines of that file. That's it. So let's implement buffer. Let's see what is proposed here. I think that's fine. If not, yeah, perfect. So nice. Okay, I think that's enough. So let's make sure that we now pass the buffer. Oh, first of all, let's import buffer. Mod buffer. And let's now, why is not, oh, it's not public. There we go. This also needs to be public. Let's see. Perfect. So next step here is to feed the buffer to our editor, like so, and I think we're gonna own the buffer. So let's do the following. All right. And this now is gonna take a buffer. And let's make sure that the editor has a buffer. The idea is to have multiple buffers later down the road, but for now, let's just keep this one. Let's make sure that this is imported. Yep. So when we create a new one, we're going to pass in the buffer. Just like that. All right. And now, when I'm drawing, I'm just drawing the status line. Let's create self.draw buffer. That sounds good. Let's implement that method. Draw buffer. We need a mutable self. Not sure if it needs, oh, it needs to be mutable because we are using stdout, which is owned by the editor. All right. So to draw the buffer, yeah, we're going to go to each line. I think that sounds good. That's a good start. And the buffer lines is going to be, do I make this public? I think so. I'm going to make both the lines and the file here public. Okay. Let's go back to just this and let's test this. Let me quit out of here. Actually, so let's do cargo run source main rs. There we go. So it loaded the buffer correctly, but it's still not displaying the name of the buffer down here. So let's take care of that. So now when we draw the status line, what I want to do is format. We're going to do this. And then we're going to do self buffer. Yep, I like that. Let's see what Vim does, or NeoVim does, when we edit a new empty buffer. Let me go to TMP, and if I do Vim here, why does it still load? I don't know what's wrong with my NeoVim config, but it's still loading the last session, even though I'm not at that folder anymore. That's weird. That's really weird. All right. Let's not care about that right now then. Okay. No name is fine. So let's quit. Let's run this again with, instead of source main, let's do buffer. Yep, source buffer down here. Perfect. And another thing that I think I'll do is just have the, yeah, the redraw is not working very great now, is it? Have it this way so my head doesn't stay in the way of the editor. All right, so now the next step here is to, I think, clear all the lines regardless, right? So I think we need to start, because if we edit a file that scrolls after the status line, I bet you we're gonna have some issues. So let's do the editor here. Let's edit the editor. And you can see that it screws up a little bit. There's no support for scrolling or anything like that. So I think I'm gonna introduce the idea of having a viewport that basically gonna point to the first line that we display on the screen and then just display whatever fits on the screen. So let's do that. Let's create viewport.rs. Okay, so viewport is going to be a view into a buffer, right? So yes, and the viewport is going to hold a reference to the buffer, and it's going to display starting on a given line of the buffer for as long as the viewport size allows. So I think that's what we're going to do. All right, so first thing we're going to have is a buffer, which I think is going to be a pointer to our buffer. And then we're going to have the size of this viewport, right? And now I'm thinking, should we have, yeah, let's have discrete width. It's going to be a U16. I think it's what Crossterm is using. And then the height also is going to be a U16. Perfect. And then, yeah, we need so I think we need to also specify the top left coordinate in case we want to scroll not only vertically, yeah, but also horizontally, right? If we're not doing text wrapping, at least not initially, it would be nice to be able to scroll horizontally as well, I think. So let's go ahead and do that. So should we do X and Y, or should we do top left? I think, so let's do top and left. So U size or U16? We need to be consistent here. So I'm going to do U16 just for now. There we go. Let's make this public. Let's go back to the editor. So we're going to have the buffer. I don't think we're going to have the buffer anymore. I think we're going to have the viewport into a buffer. Oh, but we own the buffer. Yeah, that's right. So let's do viewport. And for now, we're going to have this redundancy. Viewport. And then when we instantiate the editor, actually, let me move this method here, because it doesn't make sense for the drop to be on the top of everything else. Let's instead just paste this here. Good. And I don't think we need to, we're going to want to do this. Maybe we will. We'll see. All right, so let's continue. And now we need a viewport. So let's construct a viewport. Let viewport is going to be exactly that. Terminal size. Yep. Do we get the terminal size anywhere? We do. Here. All right, so let's do let size equals terminal size. And I think this is going to be a, yeah, U16. So delta dot insert size, that's 0. Delta dot insert size. There we go. And it's not finding viewport. Let's see if we can add it here. No, because we don't have the mod on main. Yeah. Mod viewport. Like that. Let's go back here. And let's import the viewport. There we go. Okay. So looks like we have a bunch of, yeah, what I want to do here is do viewport, new, and then just buffer and size. And I want viewport to know how to construct itself, which makes it easy to do the following and just use it like this. Oops, I want to keep that. Let's then implement the new method on Viewport. And then, no. We're going to take in the buffer, yes, as a reference, and also the size as the terminal size. So let's make this, it's going to be a U16. And we're going to return a self. That's it. Yep, we need to import buffer. Yeah, we're going to need a, so let's do that. So what's the problem here? New. Oh, there are extra arguments? Yes, there are. It's going to be buffer and size. Just like that. Why do we need a new... Is that because we're sending the buffer to the viewport and we own the buffer? I think so. I didn't want editor to have a lifetime. Is that because... What if... Let's see here. Would this work? Nope. So let's give in and do this. Now here, can we use the generic lifetime? It's the same sequence type and constant. Am I making this too complicated? I'm wondering. Yeah, you know what? Let me think about this. If we don't own the buffer, do we still need to provide a viewport? What if we don't? Yeah, let's not keep the viewport. No, we need to, because we're going to use it everywhere. If I do this, and if I do this, what seems to be the problem? Use the same sequence. Okay, so is that because... Let me do the following. Let me do a cargo check here. Sanity check. Okay, let's implement drop for editor. Expected lifetime parameter on line 33. Sure. So if we do this, are you okay with that? Let's see. Yep, implement editor. Let's play along here. Oh, we took out the buffer. Let's reinstate it. So that's the part that I'm not understanding why. Oh, the drop part. Okay. Drop for editor. Okay, what's the issue now? Cannot return value reference parameter buffer. Yeah, we need to construct that first. So let's do viewport. It's going to be, oops, like that. Yeah, so Returning this value requires buffer that is borrowed for A. Yeah, that's correct. So we cannot own the buffer because borrowed buffer occurs here. What if we borrow it for the lifetime A? Does that even change anything? I think it does. Okay, viewport.new. Borrow expression cannot be annotated with lifetimes. Yeah. Okie dokie. So where is buffer coming from? Yes, I want to own the buffer. And I want to own... no, I need to own the viewport as well. What if we don't make the editor own the buffer yet? Would that work? That works. And I think that's fine because the editor is just going to interact with the viewport. The viewport basically is going to render itself. I like that. So I think we're chilling. All right. So instead, so now instead of drawing the buffer, what we do is draw the viewport. And then maybe the viewport knows how to draw itself. So let's do the following. Draw, and then we take in self, and we take in a mutable standard out. And we return anyhow result. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Let's take out draw buffer completely from here. So draw viewport. Is basically going to do that. Basically gonna ask the viewport to draw itself. But I think the editor is still gonna own the top left of where the viewport. Yes, I like that. Let's do the following. Yes, the top and the left needs to be, yeah, I like that. Okay, let's take out this. And then when you're rendering, you're gonna say, we're gonna take in the top and the left coordinates of the viewport, and maybe even the height and the width. So I'm wondering, is this just a method and we don't need the viewport at all? I'm starting to think that's the case. Yeah, we don't need the viewport. The viewport is simpler than we thought. So here's what we'll do. We're going to take out all of this editor nonsense. Sorry, that's viewport nonsense. We're going to basically do this. We're going to still have a buffer that we own, just like that. No longer need a viewport. Let's just do buffer. Sometimes you're overcomplicating stuff. So, yep, no more viewport. And on draw viewport, that's when we do this. Easy. I like that a lot, actually. Let's do the following. Let's take, we don't no longer need this guy. All right, so now we have the draw viewport that goes through the buffer, getting each line, and then if the line is larger than the height, which is not correct, what we really want to do is, what is the viewport size? It's going to be the height of the terminal minus 2 lines, right? So should we introduce a little helper function here? Let's do that. Pub, not pub, and yeah, let's do function viewport vHeight. Yeah, it's going to be the height minus 1, minus 2, perfect. And then we do vWidth. This doesn't have to be minus 2. Eventually, when we put the lines on the left, we're going to have to consider that, but not right now. Draw viewport. E-line in self buffer.lines. No, let's not do that at all. What we're going to do is for line, let's do E in, yeah, height. It's going to be the What is the line? Yeah, let's not try to make Copilot stop. All right, so we're on the view. So the line that we really want to take from the buffer is going to be the following. Let line equal self.buffer dot, and let's get I self dot viewport top plus, yeah, we need a, let's do a helper method for that. So let's call it current line, and it's going to return an option string, and this is going to be the self dot, do we have a vtop? We do. Not current line. It's going to be viewport line, and then we're going to give in the number of the line that we want to render, and yeah, usize is fine. So it's going to be basically self.buffer, and then self.viewport top plus n. So if, so let buffer line self.top plus n, if self.buffer.len is more than buffer line, we return this guy. Otherwise, we return none. Yeah, I like that. Okay, cool. Let's continue. So now viewport line is like that. And now the line is going to be, let's do the following. Match self dot viewport line I none. We're going to basically clear the line, clear the line. And then if we have some string, yeah, so we're going to move to, so self.stdout.q cursor, move to I, now I is the line, 0.I, perfect. And so we need to draw the line for the viewport width. So the line always have to have the viewport width. So actually what we're going to do here is let line equals, and then if it's none, we're going to return an empty string or string new. And then if it's a mess, we're going to just return s, like that. And then we're going to move to the beginning of the line we're rendering. And we're going to do style, print, format, and then we're going to do width. And then the width is going to be self.v left. Let me think. So we have the viewport width, right? Yeah, let's make this simple for now and just use self.v width. How does this look? Let's see what problems we have. Yeah, we no longer have this madness. There we go. Okay. So now, if we run this, what happens? Oops. What? Oh, we no longer have viewport. No field top on type editor. Yeah. So we're gonna have to have that. CX and CY, I think that's where the cursor is. Let's keep top. This is basically we have to have viewport top and viewport left. Okay, so it's actually going to be viewport top +1 and vtop is, so n is this is a usize, and here we have to do buffer line like that. Oh, that's right. Buffer is our object. So let's do the following. Let's do dot get buffer line. Then I can implement the method on the buffer line in a way that it returns none if it falls outside of the buffer. So let's do that. Pub function get line usize, and it returns an option of string if self.lines.len plus equal line, return self buffer line sum, otherwise none. Okay, so this seems to be working. Okay, so viewport line. You cannot convert, yeah. So self.vHeight. Okay, seems to be okay. Let's see. Okay, so it's complaining because I'm borrowing this immutably and immutably. So let's see what happens if we do this. What's the problem here? Look with view width, right? Okay, I think that got rid of that issue. We have cannot move self.lines. Do I need to clone it? Okay. V left is never used. Yeah, I know. I love it. Now everything is aligned to the right. I think our format syntax is borked. There it goes. This has to be aligned to the left. All right, now that's a lot better. Okay, so you're now displaying the file partially, which is a good thing. Okay, so now I think we need to start thinking about scrolling, right? And respecting the bounds of the current line, because right now I can go wherever I want with the cursor, including on the status line. So let's address that. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's take a look at how we're handling the movements actions. We see where that is being handled. Draw status line. Here it is. So if we do move up, yeah, we need to now to be wary of our boundaries. Self.cy, correct. So let's do the following. Self.cy. Oh, this one is correct. cy plus equals on if self.cy is greater than self.v height. Self.cy equals self.v height. Okay. Move left. Yeah, we can't go. We're going to have to address this once we have, but we can use v left already. So let's do that. So self.cx minus equals 1 if self.cx is less than self.v. Okay, now I have a philosophical question. Do we want to keep the cursor x and y as a coordinate inside the viewport, or is it better to just keep as x and y on the screen coordinates? I think for now, let's go with the screen coordinates, but I think we're going to have to revisit that. So if cx is less than v left, self.cx equals self.v left. There we go. And v left is u size. Okay, so why don't we make v left a u16 as well? Okay, so now I'm sure we're going to have a lot of issues. So v top plus n, or should we take this as a u16? I think it's better if we take this as a cu16, just like that. And then here we do as u size. Next one. What is the issue here? Expected u16. Yeah. Okay. That's simpler. And size is never used. Oh, it isn't. Good. Okay. So now what happens if we run this and we try to go up? We can't. And I tried to go left and it crashed. Let's see. Let's try to do that again. I'm gonna. Yeah, why is it not showing an error? Hey, Letho, how are you? Welcome. So what I think is happening is when we panic, we are not displaying that on the proper place because right after we clear the screen. So let's create another panic handler. Let's see how I can do that because I don't remember. Custom panic rust. I recently installed LazyVim and need some help with it. Oh man. Yeah, I won't be able to do that right now. Let me take a look. I don't even use Lazy right now. I am doing my own configuration from scratch. Let's see, I want to set a hook. Custom panic, okay. You know what? There is a Discord server. Let me see if I can find it for you. That is really helpful with Vim, especially if you're using. Actually, I was using. Is it LazyVim that I was using? Let me see. So hold on. Let me see if I can research this for you. At least give you a pointer. I was using AstroVim actually. Let me see if I can share an invite to this. Invite people. Copy invite. Yeah, and there are, there is a, yeah. Take a, see if, I can't paste on my chat. Oh, why is that? Hold on. See if here I can. There we go. Try to take a look at this Vim server, Discord server, to see if someone can help you there. They're usually very, very helpful. It's just the TSX. Are you using like an extension for that? Okay, let me continue here. Panic handler. I think this is what I want. Right? Let's see. So let me go to main. Found a duplicate lang item panic implementation. Okay, so maybe not this. I did this before, but I can't remember. Oh, I'm working on a Vimlike editor. So you can see here on the right-hand side, this is my editor. I'm trying to create like a Vimlike editor in Rust. So that's what I'm doing. So on the right here, you have the editor, and this is my new Vim. I'm using the same quote-unquote theme, right, for now. Oh, this is a panic handler. No, I don't want to do that. What if we do this? Let's see what happens. Oh, there is a panic info. Okay, good. So what's the main purpose? Any additional functionality or something that I'll have? No, it's just an exercise on doing this for fun and figuring out if I can do it and see maybe down the line. We support things that Vim doesn't. One of the things that I really want to do is to enable people to write plugins, maybe using JavaScript or something like that. So the main purpose is just to learn how to do that and do it for fun, basically. So let's see here. Not core panic, but we want to do standard panic. Okay. Panic.setHook. What's the issue here? Syntax error, expected bang. So I'm doing something wrong still. Hold on. Use standard panic, panic set hook. Oh, and then, no, that's fine. Not following. Standard panic. Set hook. Looks neat. Before mentioning I couldn't differentiate much. Yeah, that's the idea, but I cheated a lot. Why is this not working? God damn it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do the following. I'm not going to clean up after myself. And let's not do this for now and see if we can catch the error. Oh, the code's still there. So if I do left, oh, there we go. So line 186 on editor. Self.c, oh, that's, yeah. It's because it's unsigned. I'm gonna have to do the same thing here. So we keep it as a minimum of 0. And this is gonna be CX. And then we do this check down here. Perfect, okay. So now, let me reinstate this. You know what, let's not. Now if I try to go left, yeah, it doesn't crash anymore. Let's see what happens if I go up for, I think the same thing is gonna happen. No, because I already had that. Okay, perfect. So line movement seems to be working, which is great. And we're not clamping this correctly. We should clamp one line before. So our viewport height, I think is not correct. Or, yeah, let's see. Move down. So if we're moving down, V height. Oh, not. Is that it? I don't think so. Yeah. If it's, oh, yeah, it has to be -1. And this is indeed equal, more or less. Good, so now we're clamping correctly. And if we go all the way to the end here, slowly but surely. This is not working, as you can see by the column there. It's still going outside of the viewport area. So let's see, move right. Oh, we're not doing anything here. So if self.cx is more than self.viewwidth, self.cx is equal self.width, viewwidth, -1. Let's see. So now if we go all the way to the end of the line, there we go. I think that's correct. And we also need to check, so if self.cx is more or equal self.line length, self.cx, self.line length, because we don't want to allow the user, yeah, we don't have line length, to go like, so let's say that this is the line that we're editing. The last place that the cursor can be is here. So let's define line length. All right, so now it's going to be self.buffer.get self.cy. No, this has to be the top of the viewport. Let me see, viewport line. Oh, yeah. So basically self.viewport line cx dot len. But that's only if there is a line where we are, which should always be the case, but let's make sure. So if let sum line equals return line.len, otherwise 0. The line lane, actually. Okay, that seems to be working. And what I want to do is do the following. I'm going to check the line length first and then do the width, because maybe the line length is after the end of the viewport. So let's see how that affects what we're doing here. And it seems like it's not working. What is the line length? Oh, and that reminds me, we need to start having some kind of logs. But we are also approaching the 1 hour time. So I'm going to call it here. And tomorrow we're going to start checking, implementing a log first, so we can debug stuff while keeping this on the screen, so we can have something that we tail output.log or red.log, whatever, right? So yeah, let's do that tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining, and I'll catch you on the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.